Hi everyone. Today we are gonna do another round of app critique. So today we're gonna critique this app TikTok. So TikTok is very trendy, especially in young generation, and it actually provides the user a video feed which is based on the user's personal interest. So yeah, let's firstly critique TikTok's icon. I think the icon design is pretty good. I usually use two dimensions to critique the icon. First dimension is whether it tells the nature of the application, and the other thing is whether this icon stands out very much, because the user needs to notice it once they open their phones, right? So I think TikTok is using this music sign to represent, the nature of the nature of the content, and also we can see that it has this bluish and pinkish border around this white icon, and this effect is actually mimicking the vintage video shooting effect. I think that's pretty good, and it actually tells the user, hey, TikTok is something about the video, and it actually will provide your fan and something very interesting. So I would say that based on the first dimension, it's doing very good, and the other dimension is whether it stands out. I think because TikTok is using this white icon above this black background, so I would say that yeah, it stands out very much. And also we can see that there's some minor details like this little gap, around this. This little gap in the middle of this icon, which makes this icon very interesting, and also it has more details which can catch the user's attention. And also because it's not like a flat icon, so that's why that it has some kind of 3D feelings, 3D effect. It makes you feel like this icon has some depth, and that's very good, which can also catch the user's attention. So let's go to the home screen of the TikTok. As I'm not the first-time user, so today we're gonna critique. So today we're gonna critique TikTok based on a frequent user's perspective. So first of all, we need to know that what's the current goal for this application, especially to frequent users. So once I say the goal, I mean what's the business goal and also what's the user's goal. I think the business goal is based on that how this application will like to grow in the future, both short term and also long term. And regarding to user goal, we need to know that how this app is satisfying the user right now, which part can be improved, and which part should be adjusted. So as I'm now the designer and also I'm now the product owner for this application, so I guess at this moment we can only assume something that very typical. So let's say that to a frequent user, the current goal for TikTok is to have the user to spend more time in TikTok. If that's a goal set to me as a designer in TikTok, I probably will ask, what do you mean by allowing the user to spend more time? Because the user may open TikTok many times per day, do you mean that we want the user to spend more time, every time they open the app? Or it's we want the user to, open the app multiple times per day? Those are different concepts, but probably the sum of the time, spent in this app could be the same, but they're just spent in different ways. So I think that's totally based on the researcher and based on which way can bring the long-term benefit. So I would like to sneeze. Sorry. Okay, let's say that based on the research and the goal is to have the user to spend more time every time they open the app. So I probably wants to get the data for the current time spent in this app for different user groups, right? So I want to know that who will spend most time, and then who spend least time, and why is the difference? What caused the difference? and what actually, which metric really make the user spend more time, and which metric, somehow prohibit the user to spend more time in this app. So let's say that based on the research, we found out like, okay, the user prefers something that's very interesting, some content very interesting, and also like the user prefers something that can be easily, probably the user probably some user feel like the interaction in TikTok is not intuitive. That's why that they just create this app, create this app, for some reasons. But I think that assumption doesn't make sense because it's already a frequent user. So yeah, let's so I as of right now we can only assume, right? But I think ideally we can have some research team to figure out what's the real reason. But let's say that if we don't have as we don't have the research right now, we can only assume that the user preferred something that easy to interact, and something that fun and interesting, addicting to the user, so that they want to spend more time in this application. So let's say that whether the current structure fulfill this goal, or fulfill the user's need, which can allow us to achieve our goal. So here we can see that TikTok has this bottom navigation. This is very typical because the bottom navigation allows the user to just navigate from one tab to another tab quickly, just with one finger. And then it just brings another question: how will the user use this application per day? So I want to know that what's the scenario, how they use it every day in their sofa, in their bed, or just probably just in their desk. Once they are studying and they feel bored, and then they just open TikTok. So I want to know that in what circumstance, and what triggered the user to open this app. If the user prefer to use the app just using one finger, and then we have to consider all the interaction, all the clickable area, just among this one finger touching area. So I think based on the TikTok's current layout, I would say that that's probably the real reason. That's probably the case. We can see that all those icons are layout, just over here. This is just for a right hand. This is perfect for a right hand user to use their thumb to navigate and to click, right? And then it also brings another question: what if the user is a left hand user? Will it be easy for them, and or do TikTok provide some way that have the user to switch the button, the button lines to the left part? So I'm just curious whether that's the case. And also, let's just go back to the navigation part. Here is the home feed. Here is the search, and then this is the create. And this is the inbox, and here is me, my profile. Okay, so I'm curious, how often will the user use those 1, 2, 3, those tabs? So based on my personal experience, I feel like probably most user will only use the first one and the middle one, right? So then I would say that if the second one and the first one, the fifth one is not something that you use frequently, then will it be a better way to place those tabs? Or we can think the question in another way, that is there any feature that can be more prominent compared to those features? And then let's just go back to the home feed, because usually the home feed is somewhere we fulfill the user's basic need, which is and also fulfill our main goal to have the user stay on this application, right? So here is the home feed, and it provides a video stream, and you can just swipe up to go to the next video, and we can see that at the top it contains two parts: for you and the following. Yeah. This is very good, and for you, I think it's based on the user's interest. It probably just provides something that uh, provides some videos that just similar to the videos which the user liked before. So I think TikTok is doing great based on their algorithm, so that they can just predict which video the user will like, which video the user dislike, and then just provide the right videos for the user. And also we can see that here there is sliding bar allowing the user to slide. So if they get bored at the beginning, they probably can quickly slide here and to see what's the rest part. If it's not interesting, they can just swipe up and then go to the next video. So I would say that first of all, I think this is doing great, and also regarding to minor navigation, and you can see that once you are sliding, and then this progression bar just gets bigger, and also we can see that there's we can see there's a big number show up here. It's very good. It just provides contextual information once the user is sliding. So the interaction is doing great. And also this feed is having the for you to be prominent, which can always ensure that we have the most interesting and also something that's very new to the user. That's also good. And on the other hand, I would say that here we can see that it has the big plus to be very prominent. It's using a different color, so the user will notice it even though the video content is very colorful. So this way, we will encourage the user to follow this one. And then on the other hand, we can think about it in this way: as a content creator, we can somehow that ensure that they get the most followers, they get as more followers as possible, and in this way we somehow encourage more content creators to upload their new videos. So that's yeah, and more videos means we can also satisfy more users. Just there's a healthy loop, there's a healthy cycle. And then another thing I wonder whether you guys notice. So if this video is done, it's finished, and it doesn't jump to the next video, I'm not sure that why TikTok is doing it in this way, because we can say that if there's a less interaction, and probably the user will feel like a more I don't know, just if there's less interaction. I mean, everyone is lazy. If the user just wants to see the next video, and right now they have to swipe up, but if the video just move to the next one automatically, I would say that it saves the user a lot of effort. So I think that probably you will encourage the user to stay in this app, but that's just my guess. I'm probably wrong, because on the other hand, we can think about it in this way: people will value their effort. So let's say that they spend so much time in TikTok because they just swipe their fingers very frequently. This swiping, this action is the effort the user put on this app. So because there's a lot of effort put on, then probably the user will feel more addicted. So whether that's true or not, we have to do some research to see whether that's true or not. Yeah, we cannot just say, yeah, that's the real case. But my intuition is saving effort is better rather than having the user to put too much effort on it. And also this effort, I would say that it's not that pleasing. And then here, you swipe. You can see that once you are swiping, there's a little flicker effect because the video is is sliding very fast. So I think this flicker effect will make your eyes very tired if you in this app for a long time. I'm not sure because I my intuition is like this will prohibit the user to spend too much time in this application. So that's something that I guess I will do some research, and let's say if that's a truth, and then we can probably use some fade out or some kind of mask or some kind of blurry effect or some smooth transition. I don't know. We can think what's the best solution, but we have to make sure that the user's eye will feel comfortable once they're seeing the video stream for such a long time. Yeah. And then yeah, I think something very minor I want to mention is you can see that this icon has a little bit translucent effect. I think that's very good. Somehow this icon stands out, but somehow it's not like stand out too much. That's what I mean, that we want the user to feel not tired once they are looking at this video. So we want to reduce the comparison. I mean that we want to reduce the difference between the icons and the video content, because the more difference, the more comparison, the user will feel more tired. Because if there's something that has strong contrast, and then you have to have your eye to focus on both parts, that will definitely spend the user too much effort, and then more effort means more tiredness, right? I think you can see that all the text they have some kind of opacity. That's very good. And also this little rotating effect is also very interesting. And if you click it, you can see the relevant videos for this music. That's also very interesting, and because it just yeah, and then you can see that here is another way to encourage the user to create their own video, so that there's more, so that there are more videos get created, and healthy cycle, healthy loop. Great. So I'll say that having a user to stay on this app is, if that's the goal, I think currently it's doing greatly. And okay, just another thing is the filter. I think that's probably based on different culture, because I also use TikTok in China, and if you use a TikTok in China, you can see that a lot of videos have great filters on it. But if you look at the TikTok in United States, everything, it looks so real. There's no filter. Not many videos have filter, so that's probably based on culture. Based on like in a certain area, what kind of video the user prefer. So that should be based on the research result. But another thing is doing great is this subtitle. I think this subtitle is provided by TikTok natively. So on one hand, it saves the creator's effort to type in this subtitle, and on the other hand, it makes the audience feel like more comfortable, because not everyone is good at listening to all the listening, and some people just prefer reading, and someone may have to use TikTok without the sound, and having the subtitle is very, very important. Yeah, this is just relates to another topic, when and where the user will use this TikTok. Let's say that even though that's not encouraged, but let's say that probably there are students and or they are workers, so they are in their school and in their workspace, they cannot have their phone to speak out. So in that case, I think subtitle is really, really crucial. That's a very smart invention for TikTok. Yeah. And another thing I want to do is I want to compare the TikTok in United States and the TikTok in China. Let's do it. right, you see that the navigation in Chinese TikTok is very, very different. The second tab, you probably cannot understand it, but second tab is friends. It's not search. And then the search is hidden here. It's hidden, not hidden, it's just placed here. It's placed at the top corner. And then this is message, and this is me. So we can see that, and also here there's the same city feature. So and also we can see that there's only 1, 2, 3 icons. Oh, it's the same, sorry. So, and then so we can see the difference. Why search is at the right corner rather than here in Chinese TikTok. So personally, I don't know the reason, and also why friends is not a second tab, and why the second tab is discover. So yeah, that's very interesting. I think it's totally based on the behavior and also how the TikTok will position itself. Let's say that let's say for example, if in China the TikTok is defined as something that allowing the user to socialize with their friends, and then they probably want the friend feature to be more prominent. They want to make sure that if you guys are in the same friendship circle, and we want to make sure that you guys can notice each other's videos so that you guys can comment or message or whatever, just have more interaction. But let's say that in United States, if TikTok is more like a Twitter stuff, it's more like something that you just show whatever you like, and then people like you will follow you, and you guys are not friends. You guys are the relationship between followers and celebrity. That's a totally different story, right? So it totally depends on how the app will position itself. But I think in a TikTok of United States, friends is or friendship is not something that's encouraged here, right? So yeah, and then this is create. I won't spend too much time on it, and the message and the me. So here, let's just talk a little bit about this feature, and I'll try to critique a little bit about the visual and word interaction. So first of all, we can see that okay, here following followers selects, and tap to create, and also edit profile, tap to add bio. Okay, and then let's say that here. I think first of all, for the profile page, I think the information architecture is designed very good. It has the number to be very prominent, and but I personally don't know that why the followers is in the middle part, because I think followers is way more important if TikTok in United States is defining itself as something that among celebrities and followers, definitely followers will be something very important, right? And then likes is the likes this follow this celebrity gets, or the likes it gives. So I don't know. Let's just compare. Yeah, this is also not doing it greatly. And here, the good thing is the follow button is very prominent, and also there's a quick link to the Instagram, and here is the drop down. The drop down will show the suggested accounts. I personally not sure that why the suggested accounts is hidden here, because if we want to encourage the user to follow more people, or have more people to follow him, I think this feature should be more prominent rather than hidden here. I wonder that how many users will click this drop down button to see what happened. I guess most people will just click follow, so and then it's done. And then how will they know there's some way that they can find some similar users, similar celebrities. And then there is a feed and the what the user likes, and that's hidden. Okay. Yeah. So we already got 25 minutes. Okay, so if I want, okay, let me just try to critique more about the visual design. I think the visual design is doing great. The reason is you can see that the visual element used in TikTok is very consistent, except for the first page, the home thread, the home stream. The reason is that you can see that all the other screens are using this bold text or bold icon plus these light gray lines. And we can see that this pattern happens everywhere. Here is the icon plus the gray border. Yeah, everywhere. Everywhere, so that's pretty good. I don't have a word, but except for the first page, I guess this inconsistency is somehow hard to eliminate. Because on the first screen, definitely TikTok wants to highlight the video part, so that's why that they have to have some buttons to float on the video, and which makes the line icon very hard. You can see that if they use this border, this thick border icon, then it's probably hard to read, so they have to use this solid icon. Then I would say that and another thing is you can see that if you are on the first screen, all the bottom navigation turns to black background, but if you click here, the bottom navigation turns to white background. That's something that I'm not very sure. Personally, I think having it consistent is better rather than to have this background change. And I don't quite see the value of it. And also, it makes the user feel a little bit, just like it's almost like okay, here is one zone, and here's like another zone, and it feels like those two zones are not correlated. But actually, we want the user to feel like everything is correlated, right? And especially the search part is highly correlated to the video thread. And here the user can find was the can find the right videos based on the hashtag. So yeah, I think at least those two parts should be highly correlated. So if you remember for the Chinese TikTok, that the search button is at the top corner, and once you click it, you just see something that's very similar to this part, but everything is in the black background. Yeah. Okay, so let's just end here. So today we already critique a lot. So I think I probably will do a follow-up critique for TikTok, because TikTok is very, very interesting and it has a lot of things we can discuss, so we can talk. Just if you like my video, please comment